Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Lee Shorten. I'm an actor, writer, director, and I'm chatting with your boy Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio.
They didn't tell you I'm moving to the mainland? All the magazines are looking for photographers out west. Ma, Pop, Shashino. Some more of the pictures that I took turned out like this. What am I doing wrong?
If you asked my old professor, he'd say it's a combination of a slow shutter and a shaky hand. And if you asked my Jewish mother, she'd say you've been taking photos of things you shouldn't be.
You ever hear of a thing called a yurei?
Anywhere you go, it follow you.
It's a sign.
Like an omen?
She returned from the dead. And she persists.
The old spirits are here.
There's something evil. I can feel it. Is there a bakemono among us?
What kind of spirit are you?
Oh God! Not sooner!
Now, until somebody tells me what kind of evil spirit or oriental magic tricks are taking over this place, nobody's leaving. It's easy to want vengeance, natural as death.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy Galaxy for another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. It's after Comic-Con San Diego, leading to New York Comic-Con. So much is going on, so much has happened. We've had amazing guests so far. Today we have an amazing guest. It's his first time on Comic-Con Radio. He's on the current season of The Terror. He's been on Van Helsing, The Man in the High Castle, and so many other amazing fandom shows. We have who do we have, guys? Can you guess? I bet you can't. We have Lee Shorten today. Lee, what's up, buddy? Welcome to Comic-Con Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Cool, man. So I hear an accent in your voice. I know you're not from Canada. Where are you from, buddy?
I'm from Australia.
Aussie brother. You know, very good friends of ours. Madeline Kennedy, Marcus Vanco, Alicia Bannett. I can name 100 of them from the cast of We Were Tomorrow. They're very close to our hearts. And you're another Aussie gentleman.
Yeah, I feel like, these days we're kind of everywhere.
They have a new series coming out. It's a sci-fi fandom series called We Were Tomorrow. It's going to be launching. We launched a trailer at San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to be launching more stuff at New York Comic-Con. But let's talk about you, Lee. So Lee Shorten, what a cool name. Where did you get that from?
Oh, thanks, man. My parents. Although it's, there's a little bit of a history behind it, I guess. I don't know if people know, but I'm adopted. So Lee was actually my last name when I was adopted, and then my parents decided to make that my first name to kind of keep that connection going.
It's a pretty cool name, man. Lee Shorten. That's like, you're like, oh, where is this guy from? Then you have a Aussie accent, and then you're an actor. So it's a little mystery behind it. There's a show I really liked you on. You're on Van Helsing, and you played this character called Master Tsui. I really liked that character before you got, killed by the Dark Lord. It was pretty cool, man.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was like working with Kelly was great. She's amazing, and we got to do some cool stuff. And I'd never really played a character like that before, so that was an all-round like A+ experience.
Well, you know what? Van Helsing's a great show. We've had almost all of the cast members. We actually have Alex coming on tomorrow. We had Nicole last week on the show. We've had everyone from Trizzo to Rukia, and the list goes on. But I hope you can come back on Van Helsing as a different character.
I would love to. It was like, it's always a shame to die, right? Especially because it is a great show. And like I said, I had so much fun, and I was kind of hoping they'd bring me back as like one of his descendants or something, but you never know, huh? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But you know what? You're on some cool shows. You're on Freaks. You're in The Intruder.
The Terror, which is coming out on AMC. That's a really cool, different show. You got to really watch it to love it, and it takes you everywhere. How was it working on that show?
It was really, really cool, actually. It was like definitely one of the best vibes on set I've had in a while. And that's not to say, like I said, Van Helsing was really cool and Men in High Castle was really cool, and I've never had bad vibes, but just to be there telling this story that's never really been told on this scale before, about the Japanese internment, and kind of be there with an all-Asian cast, it was just a different vibe, in the sense that for a lot of us, when we were on set, we used to kind of being like the only Asian person there, and sometimes you're a little bit token, but this is kind of an Asian-centric show, so it's just a very different feeling, and the vibe was just really, really good. Everyone was very committed to telling the story and doing it justice, and felt the weight of responsibility and the honor to be telling it.
That's pretty rad. There's another TV series coming out this August. It's actually coming out in like a couple of weeks. It's called Wu Assassins, which has a pretty big Asian cast. Have you ever thought about that series as well?
Actually, it's funny. Like, I'm friends with a bunch of the guys, like Lawrence and Lewis and Lily and Juju, and so when I work with Ty on Men in the High Castle, so I'm like really, really, really stoked for that show. I've seen, like, I watched the trailer the other day. The fights look sick. Iko's like a legend. He's like the best of what he does, and I'm just really, I'm excited because it's an Asian story. It's a cool story. And like I said, I'm friends with half the cast, so just to get to see my friends go to work is going to be something special.
One other cool dude on that series is George Takei. How was it having him around?
It was kind of one of those surreal experiences when you first start. I mean, like, you grow up watching him on Star Trek. He's Sulu, man, and you're like, it's an honor to be working with him. And then the next level, obviously, is he was in the camps as a boy. Unfortunately, he's such a sweet guy, and he's so funny, and he's so passionate, and he's got so much insight. So, just on a purely like professional level and personal level, amazing to be there with him. But then that extra thing in that, we're telling the story about Japanese internment, and he was there, just really takes it up to the next level,
Isn't that wicked that there's someone alive still? I know there's many people still alive, but just to know someone that's alive and you got to play in a show with them, and it adds more of a reality to it. It adds this realness that, hey, you were there, now we're acting it out today. And it gives this sense of, wow, such a reality sense to the series, even though it's, it's a fandom series, but so much reality to it because it's using real events. And
yeah, man, again, it's unfortunate that it happened. It's cool that he was on the show and was consulting, but you're right. It just adds so much weight. A lot of the locations we shot at in Canada, they were historical locations too, because the Japanese Canadians were interned. So a lot of the locations we went to were places where they were held before they were moved, or we shot at this stable where they were rounded up before they were shipped out to the interior, to the camps. So to be there and then to be with George, you kind of don't even have to act, because you just feel the weight of history just there,
I totally understand what you're saying, and it's exciting for you. That's why you're like, it's so cool to see these sites. Yeah, a lot of horrific things happened. It wasn't cool. It wasn't funny, but it's cool to see those historic sites in person and be part of a series that captures it. So I get what you're saying, man, and that's really nice of you to say those things. You're a cool dude. But, the show The Terror, season 1 was different, all ice and snow and all that. And now season 2, it's driven towards this stuff. Do you think this season is going to be more horrific and more terrorizing? Because here's the thing. A lot of people know of the show, maybe haven't seen it. What is The Terror about?
So, yeah, basically, originally it was a book by Dan Simmons, and it's this amazing book, and season 1 was a brilliant adaptation of it. It was definitely, I think, one of the most underrated shows of last year. I wish more people watched it, because it was some next level stuff. But basically what they do is that AMC decided to make an anthology where we take a real historical event In the first season, it was the Franklin expedition. This season, it's the Japanese-American internment. And then they add like a supernatural horror element to it. So the first season, they were kind of being hunted by the Tundak, which was this mythological creature. And then this season, our community is being haunted by an obake, which is a ghost, like a shape-shifting ghost. So it's this interesting blend of historical drama and just straight-up supernatural horror.
Last season, the Terror, that was the name of the ship, right?
Yes, yeah.
And this year, it's just the Terror for the series.
We're subtitling the Terror Infamy. And Infamy, on the day Pearl Harbor, and the president delivered a speech, and he was like, forever this day will live in infamy. So that's kind of our like tie-in the same way.
Gotcha. So basically, it's the Terror Infamy. So this day will probably freak people out for a long time. Now, here's the thing. You guys featured this trailer in Comic-Con. It's such a hard subject matter. But this is a supernatural TV show. In all essence, the people should know that overall, we understand it was hardships. It's sad. A lot of people dealt with this. There's a lot of families here that went through this. But you guys have added this supernatural essence to it, which you took a real situation that happened in history, then added a fictitious thing to it. And that's why it's a cool subject to talk about, to watch, and everything like that. So I wanted to bring that up because I want people to be a little lightened by this because, you know, it's a hard situation. Yes, all internment camps and all these things were bad back then. Everybody was crazy back then. But the supernatural part should be cool.
It's an interesting mix. Did you see the first season?
I did see most of it. I saw it from the beginning. And it's wicked. They were being hunted one by one. It didn't seem like a horror movie until stuff started happening to them. You thought it was like one of those Expedition 1600 movies, you know?
Yeah, and then it takes that kind of turn. Our seasons, I would say, if I had to boil it down to just a pure kind of ratio, I think we have more supernatural element than the first season. So part of it too is, you know, the Japanese have this history of, you know, of kaiden, and as you know, like J-horror is like such a big deal, you know, they're like masters of it with The Grudge and The Ring. Even though we're bringing in this fictional element, it in many ways still ties back into the culture. So this ghost that haunts us is going to appeal to fans of J-horror, to fans of The Ring and The Grudge, and so I think you can come at it from the place of I'm really invested in the historical character drama, or I just want to straight up get in and just be terrified by this ghost.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the poster. It's like this black and white picture with this black tear coming down. It's freaky. I think people should take season 1 and let's just put it aside. Season 2 is a totally different grasp on it. It's a whole different story. I think season 2 is going to be 100 times scarier than season 1. And I want everybody to watch this. And I want everybody to watch you because I think this is an amazing series. But besides this series, when did you want to be an actor, man? I don't have one of those cool stories of like, I wanted to be an actor since a kid or anything. I mean, maybe I wish I did, but I kind of came at it in a weird way. I don't know if you know, but I was a lawyer for a number of years, and it just wasn't doing it for me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess as cool as being a lawyer can be, it's not like on Suits, unfortunately. So I was doing that for a while, and then I just wasn't feeling it, and I studied film for my liberal arts major, and I just remembered how much I just really like film and TV, and I thought I should just give that industry a shot. And I'd always gravitated towards like really good actors, you know, like Philip Seymour Hoffman and just really solid character actors. And I just thought I should try that. You know, I'd really like to try that. To me, late in life, basically.
So you started as an attorney. You never thought of acting. You just took some classes in university. And then you were doing the lawyer thing. And you were like, hey, I don't like this. I want to be an actor. And then you just like, boom, switched, took some classes, and you're in amazing TV shows. You think your law background helped you being an actor in some way or another? Maybe reading contracts, but anything else?
Yeah, it helps me a bit because, you know, like a big part of a job as an actor is you get the script and then you got to analyze the script and break it down and work out what's going on and then find a way to translate what's on the page into, you know, reality. So I think being a lawyer gave me a really healthy respect for written language, because that's kind of my job too, right? You do a lot of reading as a lawyer. You're combing through cases and interviews and all kind of stuff, and then trying to work out what that all means both in a big picture sense and like a tiny detailed sense. So in that way, I think it definitely helps. In other ways, it probably doesn't at all, because as an actor, you got to be pretty emotional and vulnerable and do all these things. Whereas a lawyer, it's like the opposite. People are going to tell you these things, and you got to kind of just, it can't affect you. You got to be so stoic and just sit there and nod and just do your job. So they're opposed that way, but in some ways, it's definitely been useful.
That's a pretty cool story. You said you didn't have any kind of story. That's a story into itself. A person that's an attorney and then changes to an actor. That's a story right there, man. I bet you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Sometimes some of these showrunners or directors or producers are a little nicer to you. They're like, this guy could probably sue us.
Maybe. I'll never know. They probably never tell that to my face.
No, they probably still treat you like shit sometimes. I love so many showrunners and directors and producers, but I know there's some shitty ones out there. But you get both. But overall, the industry is amazing. The industry has changed a lot. I've seen it change from a certain way where it was like controlled by a few people to now it's controlled by the artists. I'm in love with actors and actresses. I'm in love with people behind the scenes, writers and producers and directors and showrunners, because you guys are what makes the movies and TV shows happen. It's not about the studios. Yeah, the studios got money, but these days so many people are doing so many amazing things. And I just am a big, what is that? I'm a fighter for you guys. I want you guys to do amazing. I want you guys to grow. And especially up-and-coming artists, I love them. Lee, you might become the next A-lister, amazing actor in the next few years. I don't know. And then I'll be like, hey, I had him on Comic-Con radio, and then you're going to feel like you owe me something, and then that's it. I got to get exclusive. So how does that work? Does that work out for you?
Yeah, we get that in writing. You're like, you said it. I've got it. It's a verbal contract.
Man, it's an amazing industry. Once you're in it, it feels so good. One thing I have noticed these days, past 3, 4, 5 years, there's so much love between artists, and everybody just wants to help each other. It's so different now. Do you feel a lot of love from a lot of people when you're on set?
Yeah, definitely. I'm relatively new. I've only been doing this for like 5 years. So, you hear stories about how it used to be. And, like sometimes I hear stories from the old guard about things they've experienced. But I got to say, I've been ridiculously fortunate, because every set I've stepped onto has been so welcoming. And you're right, it's a lot of artists supporting artists and just really positive, collaborative and environment. So definitely no complaints on my end. And maybe it is like change. It's beautiful.
That's cool that you feel this way, and it's great that you've gotten such a great experience. You know Ken Jung, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He was a doctor at one point. In the beginning, he never told anyone he was a doctor, and now he's in commercials with his doctor's jacket, and he like praises that. So maybe one day you could probably come out and say, I was a lawyer at one point and now I'm an actor. So it might be a cool thing for you in the future.
Although I think people are a bit more sympathetic to doctors than lawyers, maybe.
Yeah, they'll be more scared of you. They're like,
you know what I'm saying?
No kissing scenes, no touching scenes. They're going to be like, did I touch you bad? Did I push you wrong?
Can you just sign this contract before we work together just to, relieve me of like you waiving all your rights to whatever? So
everybody's going to give you an NDA before they talk about an idea.
Maybe.
You should have one on your phone, like one of those like automatic NDAs. I have one of those because sometimes people share stories with me. So I'm like, here, sign this. That's a true story. I do that sometimes. But
hey, you're prepared, right? You know what's up.
I don't think you need to, man. You're doing really great. So aside from the terror, did you experience any terrors filming?
No, actually. It was really cold some days because we were filming in winter up in Canada, and in the show a lot of times it's supposed to be summer. So it looks really bright and warm, but we're there and we're freezing. But that was the closest it came to terror for me. Maybe I got real lucky. But no ghost stories on my end, unfortunately.
Dang, man. That sucks. But it's okay. We'll watch the TV show. So what other projects do you have? What else are you working on currently?
Right now, I'm actually writing a show with one of my Terror castmates, Miki Ishikawa, who plays my sister on the show. So we're kind of developing a little TV show of our own right now.
That's nice. And is it going to come out anytime soon, or is it just in the works, in the creative process?
Yeah, so we just finished kind of like the draft of the first 2 episodes and put together a story Bible. So we're just setting up some meetings right now and hoping some things happen. But I think, as you said, the industry's changing and there's like kind of definitely this desire for different stories and more diverse voices. So we're feeling pretty positive about it, I think.
That's pretty rad, man. That's good that you're doing that. You appreciate spoken language and you have to read a lot and you write a lot. And isn't it great that you took all that experience and now you're writing scripts and plot points and ideas and characters and all sorts of different things?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a lot of people are like, don't you wish you started earlier, or do you regret wasting all your time in law school? But and I think you feel the same way. Maybe, sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth, but it's like, all those experiences make you who you are today. And if you're happy with who you are today, then you can't really regret what you did yesterday, unless it was a terrible, terrible thing. But something like law school was only just a terrible thing, not a terrible, terrible thing. So we good.
It's all good, man. You sound so happy. You sound like the happiest dude in the world. You sound like things are happening the way it's supposed to be. You don't feel frustrated. You don't sound like, but what if I did this or I did that? You're just saying, I'm in the right moment at the right time. It's where I'm supposed to be. I'm cool, and it's all good.
I hope so. Either that or just I'm terribly naive. One of the two. So let's go with the first one.
Hey, but you do look good on camera, man. I see you here. You got this look. People can't tell where you're actually from, and you could play any character. You could even pull off other ethnicities as well, and then you have this accent. I think you should work in one of these James Bond movies as well. You're the Aussie counterpart. Would you do that?
Oh, I in a heartbeat. I grew up on James Bond. That'd be amazing one day to play in that kind of universe. That'd be cool as.
And also, it's really cool that you have an education background. And I get back to that because you have something there. That education, you went through it. You're never going to be like, oh, what if I would have went to college and studied? Because I do a lot of these chats, and some people are like, I wish I finished school. Some people are like, hey, forget school, F that. I'm happy where I'm at. But you experienced those things, and now you're doing what you love, and you never know in the future as you grow and you grow your production company and all that, your legal stuff is going to come in handy because you won't need to hire an attorney.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know even now and in the last few years, I got a lot of friends who are indie filmmakers, and I often look over their contracts and deal memos and stuff for them. So yeah, it definitely comes in handy. If I'm ever like Daniel Day Kim levels or I have a production company, I probably need to hire someone better than me, but it's always still good to at least know what's being said as opposed to like, what is this word? Please explain it to me. So
that's pretty cool. I'm sitting right here and one of the producers just popped up, Master Tsui, on the screen.
I always got to say props to all the behind the scenes people, because wardrobe, makeup, hair, production design, everything is such a big part of what we do. We're just only one leg of telling the story, and it helps so much when you go in and they can transform you, because yeah, you feel like a different character as opposed to, if I'm always going in there looking the same.
Well, I'm going to ask you some really quick, simple questions right now, and just give me some quick answers. Hair or no hair?
Hair.
Stash or no stash?
No stash.
No stash. Marvel or DC?
Oh, come on, man. DC Comics, Marvel films.
There you go. How about DC TV, Marvel movies?
Man, I really like what DC is doing, like Doom Patrol, Titans, Swamp Thing. I feel like they're taking more experimental risks, which I really respect.
Did you know they canceled Swamp Thing after the first episode? Isn't that sucky?
Man, I was shattered because it looks so good. It looks so good. I was really upset about that one.
Well, they said they had contract issues. They didn't get certain things in place, but they spent all that money on that swamp and everything. It's an amazing show. I hope they relaunch that, but that platform is very new. I'm really proud of DC television. I think in the DC movies, from my point of view, not anybody else's, but I see that they rush their movies because they're trying to set up these plot points for these characters and then doing these combo things like how Marvel's doing Avengers. But what Marvel does is they simultaneously film things and they release them at their appropriate time, and it builds that story for everyone. Honestly, I love Marvel television as well, but DC TV just gets me. It's so amazing. And I'm also saddened that Arrow is going to be gone after this coming year.
Yeah, it's like end of an era, right? Because that was almost was it the first kind of modern superhero TV show?
Yes, it's the longest running. Yeah,
it's crazy to see that kind of come to an end, and that was another show that was fun to work on. And yeah, I know a lot of the local guys are really going to miss it. So
the end of Arrow, the end of this, the end of that. Maybe you should try to get on one of those shows.
I'm burned. So
You're burned. You did them.
I would go back.
Of course you would go back. But you know what? They don't do what Supernaturals does. Supernaturals would like let you chill for a couple of years and then bring you back on as a different character. But I don't think these shows would do that.
No, they're a bit more strict about that. Except for a bit of trivia you probably know already, except for Patrick Sabongi, though. He's on The Flash as one of the main detectives, right?
Yes.
But he played like a thug in the early Arrow days.
He did.
Yeah. So he's like the only one they've let do that.
They thought that people would forget, and most people did. But, now on Flash, he's the captain. We kind of forgot about that. He was like all clean shaved. I think it was the first episode of The Flash, right? Season 1?
Yeah.
And then he came on as the captain later. So crazy. But, hey, it works out. Maybe he was very nice to everyone, and they were like, hey, let's keep you on as the captain.
I mean, yeah, he is a really nice guy. He's very talented. So I'm like stoked for him. And then if anyone deserves that kind of treatment, it's Patrick. So
absolutely. Now, Lee, about you. I know you worked in The Man in the High Castle, and now you're in The Terror. I know The Terror is your current baby, so you have to talk very highly about that because, marketing's going, and it's going to release pretty soon. It's releasing this August, right?
Yeah, August 12th.
Oh, boy. So it's releasing August 12th. Which one of these TV shows was your best experience?
Oh, you're like asking Dad who the favorite kid is. You're killing me. It's hard to go past Man in the High Castle. Because it was my first big gig. Where I actually kind of played for a long time, and second because I worked for 2 years with Joel De La Fuente, who plays Inspector Keto, and he's like the big brother I never had. Like getting to know him and now being able to call him my friend is probably like the highlight of my career today. That guy he's like a saint. He's like so generous and giving both as a person and as an actor. He's very talented. He's very professional. Like I wish he was an A-lister. He should be an A-lister, but I mean, if he was, I probably wouldn't have got to work with him, but that's a selfish thing to say. But yeah, High Castle mainly for Joel because he's the man. He is the man.
That's a good way to put it, man. You're a very humble dude. I can tell by speaking with you. You're not trying to be calculated. You're just being straight from the heart, and that's a good thing. I want all our fans to get to know you really well. And once they hear this, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's a cool dude. Your stories are nice. You're like straight to the point. I know you're an attorney. See, you just get to the point.
Oh, I hope that's a good thing. So.
Yeah. I actually wanted to sleep through this one, but, I did 5 other interviews. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
now
great.
You're like sweating. You're like, why is he doing this to me?
Oh, man.
Anyway.
I hope I'm not doing that to you because you're like, what the hell is this guy asking me?
No, your questions are great. This is great. So
yeah, hey, we want to make it fun. So, what else can you tell fans out there about your career? Any highlights? Anything that you were like, wow, this has really opened my eyes to this world?
Well, yeah, obviously a lot of stuff on The Terror was like that because I was a bit familiar with the history and I did a little bit of research about the period for Man in the High Castle, but I had to really deep dive to do this one. So there were a lot of times on that set where I was like, wow, and listening to George's stories. And we had a lot of people who had a personal connection. Like even our first AD, and a lot of our directors had parents or grandparents who were in the camps and a lot of our BG. And so there were a lot of like stories and a lot of high emotions on that set. So that was pretty hectic. And also on that too, I mean, Jimmy Saito plays my dad on that show, and he was the Shredder in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Did you ever see that one?
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course, I'm a nerd.
Right. So, I mean, that was that, and Batman, the original Batman with Michael Keaton, were my 2 favorite movies as a kid, and I think Jimmy was the first Asian person I'd seen on TV as the Shredder, and the Shredder was so badass. I'll never forget that speech he gives. Money cannot buy the honor you have earned tonight. And so that was working with a childhood hero too, when it's oh, holy shit, the Shredder is my dad. That's crazy.
So you're saying you're a nerd at heart. That's what you're saying.
Me, 100%, man, 100%. I grew up on, the X-Men animated series and the Spider-Man series, Batman, and I read comics, and I think the only thing I don't do is play Dungeons and Dragons. So.
Yeah, me neither, but it's all good. I love them too, man. I love everybody. Hey, nerds come in all shapes, sizes, looks. You can look like a superstar, still be a nerd inside. You can look like whatever. It doesn't matter. There's no look. There's no ethnicity. There's no nothing. It's just we're nerds, man. That's all we got to say.
Right? Like Henry Cavill, man. That guy's is addicted to World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
And he's Superman. So.
Well, they appointed a new Batman already.
Yeah. Patterson, right?
Yeah, yes. They appointed him. What do you think about him being Batman?
I think it's funny. I know there was a lot of skepticism and kind of nerd rage about it, but I'll always think back to when they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker, and everyone was like, what? Get out of here. Knight's Tale, 10 Things I Hate About You is going to be the Joker. And I mean, who can hold a candle to that performance? So I think with Robert, I mean, everyone wants to be like, oh, he's the sparkly guy from Twilight. But I think if you've seen some of his other work, I think he'll bring it, man. And Matt Reeves, the director, his track record for casting and making movies, I think his instinct is good. So I'm excited just to see what they come up with together.
No, you're absolutely right. You hit it on the head. When you saw that, you're like, oh, the Knight's Tale character, but he's the best Joker, I think, by far. The way he played it was wicked. And it's sad that the things happened that way, but it just took it to become like this. He became like this icon, and he's like Elvis Presley now to that world.
Yeah, I mean, we were robbed of his talent, and his family and friends were just robbed of his life, and it's unfortunate. But you're right in a way. It's like he's kind of immortalized as that Cobain-esque Elvis Presley kind of tragic figure now.
Absolutely, man. So outside of your new project that you're doing with your co-star and the Terror, is there anything else that you're working on in the future that you could kind of tell? I know there's a lot of secret projects in Hollywood and people don't share things because it's jinxing or, hey, the contract's ink is not dried yet. But is there anything the fans can know, a sneaky tidbit?
I think the only thing I can talk about is a Christmas movie I did with Anna Kendrick that's going to be out on Disney Plus called Noel.
What are you, like the guy in the movie that the girl falls in love with, or are you the guy that wants her and she doesn't want? Which one are you?
Neither. But I see you know your Christmas movies well.
Yes.
No, I'm like one of the friends of one of those guys, and I'm like a cop, and I have a bit of a run-in with her, with Anna. That's about all I can probably say about that.
Oh boy, and that's coming out this Christmas.
I think I think that's the last I had.
But it's good it's on the Disney Channel. It's not on the Hallmark Channel. I have a lot of friends that in between TV shows they do like Hallmark Christmas movies just to like keep busy. And I'm like, that's cool. It's like a thing, you know. But at least you're on a Disney Channel, so this is different, man. Hey, that's a step up, Lee.
I mean, yes, I'm inclined to agree. Hallmark don't really like me. I don't really read for them a lot. I think my look isn't their jam. Let's just say so.
Whatever, man. It's all good. Don't worry. They're gonna spread you like jam once you rock this season with the Terror. Once they see you and everything else. Sometimes it's just time, and sometimes it's just the right moment and the right place and the right this and the right that. Did you go to San Diego Comic-Con this past year, or are you going to New York Comic-Con coming up?
I didn't make it to San Diego, unfortunately. I was working on the thing, and New York, I don't think I could make it out there either. I got some meetings and stuff around the same time, and I got to get out there soon, though, because it's Comic-Con, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were there. It was amazing. We did an amazing event there. We do one almost all the time, and it was a great event. A lot of people came out, and we featured a trailer for a new series called We Were Tomorrow, and all of our friends and a lot of our guests that come on the show were out there. It was really cool. This year it was pretty crazy. But we're going to be at New York Comic-Con, and, if you were going to be there, our new comic series is coming out, or my new comic series is coming out during New York Comic-Con. So, but you never know,
Congrats, man. That's awesome. That's dope. So.
Yeah, I want it to be a TV series. So, hey, I'm going to think of you as one of the characters.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
That's it. It's in development, Lee. You're a cool dude. You're nice to chat with. Lee, is there anything you want to share with the fans before we start heading out?
Definitely, watch the Terror, please. For many reasons, selfish and otherwise. Watch Blue Assassins because I think it's going to be dope. And I got to say, on the Terror 2, I would definitely keep an eye on the female characters on that show because I think they get the best stuff to do. I'll just leave it at that.
You'll leave it. I know you can't say anything. That's why it's always like, sometimes when guests come on before the show starts, I'm like, I know they can't say nothing, and I don't like to push it. Only when I get the showrunners, I like to squeeze them a little bit, but I know they know what's up. I would love to bring you back on once like the season's halfway or towards the end of it so we could chat about like what's going on because it'll make sense. Like right now we're like speaking alien to them. And you play Walt Yoshida, and you're in all 8 episodes. So I think it would be really cool to get you back on.
Yeah, I would love that, man. I would love that. Actually, I guess I'll drop one more kind of bomb. Again, it's kind of teasery or whatever, but I will say, being the big nerd that I am, I looked at Captain America a lot when I was kind of developing the Walt Yoshida character.
Get it. So you're like the countryman, defending everyone, fighting for honor type of dude. Okay, we get it. We're going to watch it. Yeah. Everybody better watch it.
And,
we're going to call you Captain Yoshida.
Captain Yoshida. But yeah, that'd be dope. And I guess, for the people listening too, I'm pretty active on Twitter and I like talking to people. So if you are watching the show or you just want to talk nerdy stuff, I do that a lot. So feel free to get at me because I love talking about all things.
And what's your Twitter handle?
LC Shorten.
That's it. LC Shorten on Twitter. Are you on Instagram?
I am, yeah.
And same thing?
Same handle.
LC
same
Shorten.
handle.
Hey, you're keeping it easy. Some people have like these 4225 on this one and 3642 on that one, but you're LC Shorten on Twitter and LC Shorten on Instagram. Ladies and gems, please reach out to him during the season. He'll DM you back, but please be cool with the DMs. Ask him questions about the show or anything else, but nothing naughty, okay? Because I don't think Lee will answer that.
Probably not, no.
Maybe he might. You never know, but I'm just saying. LC Shorten. Well, you're a cool dude, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been lots of fun. What we're going to do, Lee, is we're going to start signing out. Ready, brother?
Yep.
All right. Sir. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy Galaxy with the coolest dude, Lee Shorten, on another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Check him on the Terror Infamy. He plays Mr. Yoshida. He's going to be rad cool. Reach him on Instagram or Twitter at LC Shorten and say what's up. He's going to be checking out for your DMs. And check him out in his new movie that he's currently writing, or TV series. So we can't wait. And we're going to get him back on the show once the Terror starts. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, here's a billion kisses from me and Lee to all of you. 3, 2, mwah, to everybody out in the fandom universe. Lee, we love you, man. Thank you, bro. You've been awesomely kind. And we're signing out. Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media. Instagram at Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.